The moral of the story is when Israel cedes territory and withdraws, terrorism takes its place. Okay? This is the moral of the story.
So we can say it's nothing new. Every time Israel walks away, there's something bad in the pipeline.
Yes, very much so. It's a recurrent theme. Okay, every time Israel withdraws, there's mayhem, and I'll go even further. Okay, first of all, we had the Oslo Accords and Israel's withdrawal from Judea and Samaria and subsequently Gaza. What happened there? You have the corrupt PA with its incitement, of course, and its oppression of its own people, basically, as well. It is a corrupt regime. All the money that the European Union has fed into the PA lines the pockets of the PA, and it doesn't go anywhere else, with the exception of the pay for slay policy. Okay? Because the PA pays the families of terrorists who commit acts of murder on the Israeli population. Okay, this is documented. This is
Yeah.
not make believe. The European Union are aware of this, yet they turn a blind eye. So, in other words, with your taxpayers' money in Ireland and Portugal and Italy, that's where it goes.
Yeah, and it's surprising that people are not upset about it because there's so much to be done in Europe, as we all know.
Indeed,
Just to move the
indeed.
topic to Europe, they see the roads, they see the infrastructure is falling apart. They see
Oh
that,
yes, yes,
there's a lot to be repaired, and safety. It's a serious issue. So, like you could invest in authorities, you could invest in transportation. I mean, we could be
absolutely,
here for an hour just tell how much
absolutely.
societies in the West can be developed, even though we are
Mm,
ahead of most of the road. But then
mm.
the road goes to those guys. Then they do what we all know, and people still turn a blind eye. And why is that, in your opinion? Why people have this sympathy for Palestine?
Well, there are a number of reasons for that. There are a number of strands to this. First of all, they people have a problem with the idea of nation states nowadays, and Israel is a nation state par excellence. Okay, whereas nationalism, the notion of the nation state, is frowned upon in Europe. Israel very much values that. Okay, Israel is a great national project. Okay, there is, of course, the fact that many people find it a convenient way to channel their prejudices, whereas anti-Semitism is a rather tricky ground to tread upon. What they do is, with another sleight of hand, is to channel their anti-Semitism through anti-Zionism. Okay,
Hmm.
this is another element. We could go on. There are many strands to this. There is, of course, one has to now, of course, speak about the huge Muslim populations in Europe that have imported their prejudices and influenced the democratic process as well. Okay, there are votes to be had there. Okay, and if you're not anti-Semitic or anti-Israel, you will not gain those votes. This is a very delicate subject, unfortunately, for many politicians in Europe, because they obviously people will say, but not all Muslims are like that. And certainly all Muslims are not like that. There are many decent Muslims, but unfortunately, it's the thug element which holds sway. It defines the agenda. Okay, so they're doing us a disservice, not just to Jewish people and to themselves, but also to decent Muslims as well, who are afraid to, let's say, come out.
Yeah, yeah, to come out. Talking about Ireland, so you lived here. Was it in the 80s?
Yes, I lived in Ireland up until the mid 80s, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you were here, were you already foreseeing the level of anti-Israeli feeling that is that common on the news, on universities, institutions, or before it was a bit more discreet?
It was certainly more discreet, and it hadn't reached the levels of hysteria it's reached now in the media. Now, I'm not sure what the man in the street thinks. That, to be perfectly honest, I don't know that at the moment. Certainly, we know that academia, the judiciary, and the government is informed by this animus towards Israel. When I was growing up, the Irish people were certainly very decent people, very fair-minded people. That's my recollection, and even when I go back, that's my general feeling. It's basically the chattering classes that poison the atmosphere. And then again, normal people, the man in the street, will be influenced by the chattering classes. So it will have some effect. But generally speaking, Irish people are pretty decent people. They're fair-minded and generous people.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think if I talk to the average Joe on the street, they are fine with Jews, they are fine
Yeah.
with Chinese, they are fine with Indians. They don't have any problem,
Yeah.
But when it comes to public speaking, then they probably hesitate because they are afraid of consequences. Like most people are cowards,
Indeed.
so if they start to measure what are the repercussions of diverting from what is the main opinion, they will think twice and they will just go along with what is the fashion, just because they're afraid. So I think from
Indeed.
heart they are not anti-Israelis, they are not anti-Jews, they are not anti anyone. Just they feel that there is a trend, and to protect themselves and their families and even their income, they will say, "Yeah, I'm with Palestine because I saw an article
That's right.
yesterday
That's
that
right. That's right.
Israel killed 100 people, so I'm
Yeah.
against cruelty." And
Yes,
that's
of
all they
course.
say. That's all they
That's
say.
right.
I
That's
think
right.
if the
It's
trend could be,
understandable.
yes,
They are bullied. They
yes,
could well lose their livelihood if they commit themselves beyond what is deemed acceptable.
yeah, and that's I think that's very scary. That I
Mm,
think we're comparing how was the society in the 80s versus now. Okay,
mm,
and to me, what I found really terrifying is that the system is sophisticated to a level that if you speak out, you are in trouble. And I think the one
mm.
of the reasons is because there are many channels, there are many platforms, and on top of that, they can listen you in basically everywhere. Whereas
Yes.
before, I
Yeah.
think there were a way more. I hate the term, but a safe place. There were
Yeah.
way more of that.
Yeah.
I know they promote that, okay, you can be yourself, blah blah blah, but I think it's
Mm,
more and more the opposite, because you can
mm.
be yourself as long as your colors are not against the shirt
That's right.
of
Yes.
the system.
That's right. That's right.